Mira, Zoey, and Rumi's secret pasts will break your heart. And I don't say that lightly, because after analyzing every scene, every blurred photo, every painful expression, I found something nobody talks about, a hidden pattern that explains everything about their bond. See, it's not just 3 sad backstories. It's 3 girls who all lost their families in completely different ways. And all of those losses led them to the exact same place. Once you understand what each of them lost, you'll never look at their friendship the same way again.
There is no we, Zoe. I don't get to have a family.
Mira's story is one of the saddest in the entire movie. From the very beginning, Mira's life was shaped by rebellion and rejection. Mira's parents are still alive, but here's what makes her story heartbreaking. They wish she was different. At the beginning of the movie, we see a photo of Mira with her family, her parents, but all of their faces are blurred out. And when you finally see them clearly during the Golden Song performance, they look upset, disappointed, like they're ashamed to be there. Because Mira is the black sheep of her family, the problem child, and she knows it. In her song during the Golden Song performance, Mira even sings about it herself. She sings, She admits she got too wild because Mira didn't just wake up one day and decide to be a problem. She became a problem because she refused to be who her family wanted her to be. Look at her hair, bright pink, bold, loud, impossible to ignore. Her family, conservative, traditional, proper. And Mira dyed her hair pink anyway, not because she thought it looked cool, but because it was an act of rebellion, a way of saying, I refuse to be who you want me to be. Think about it. Mira grew up in a family where being herself, her real, authentic, wild self, was seen as a problem, something to fix, something to control, something to be ashamed of. Her parents refused to support her dream of becoming a K-pop star. To them, it wasn't a real future. It was just more proof that Mira was making bad choices, embarrassing the family. But here's the most devastating part. In that same family photo from the beginning, there's a brother, Mira's brother. But in later shots, he's missing. Fans believe he was killed by a demon. And if that's true, it explains why her parents are even colder towards Mira. They lost their son, their perfect child, and all they have left is Mira, the daughter who chases impossible dreams and refuses to be what they want. Mira grew up feeling like she was never enough. So when Mira found Zoey and Rumi, she protected that bond like her life depended on it. Because to Mira, it did. For the first time in her life, she had Zoey and Rumi, who didn't see her as a problem to fix. Friends who didn't look at her behavior and feel ashamed. Girls who looked at her and thought, you're perfect exactly as you are. That's why Mira fights so hard for them, because she spent her entire childhood being told she was too much. And Zoey and Rumi are the first people who ever made her feel like she was exactly enough.
For the fans. For the world.
For us.
And while Mira's past is filled with rejection and rebellion, she's not the only one carrying a heavy story. Because Zoey's story is way sadder than most fans realize. At the start of the movie, it's revealed that Zoey isn't originally from South Korea. She's American. She only moved to Korea later in life to chase her dream of becoming a demon hunter and a K-pop star. Her mom is Korean and a former K-pop demon hunter. The same group with Rumi's mother and Celine. And Zoey felt connected to that part of her identity. That's how she eventually crossed paths with Mira and Rumi. But before all of that, her life in America wasn't easy at all. Zoey's parents divorced when she was still a child, and that separation destroyed a lot inside her. She didn't grow up with stable parenting. She didn't have anyone guiding her properly. Instead, she grew up watching the two people who were supposed to love each other tear each other apart, fighting, screaming, making her choose sides. And here's what breaks my heart about Zoey. That emotional instability didn't just affect her mental health, it affected her physical health too. Let me explain. Zoey was being bullied in school. That's why she was always alone. And it perfectly explains her personality. Soft, quiet, always trying to avoid conflict. She learned early that raising your voice, fighting back, standing up for yourself, it only makes things worse. So she stayed small. She stayed quiet. And even now, you can see that trauma in her. Because when she, Mira, and Roomie were practicing their choreography, everything's going fine until Roomie suddenly stops. She starts arguing with Mira about the takedown song, voices rising, tension building. And watch what Zoey does. She immediately steps in, asking Roomie to be calm, promising she'll change the song, even though they're almost out of time. She doesn't care about any of that, because to her, keeping the peace is worth any cost. Zoey would rather sacrifice her own time, her own comfort, her own needs, than watch two people she loves fight. And that's not just being nice. That's trauma. That's a girl who learned that when people fight, everything falls apart. So she'll do anything to stop it before it gets worse.
She grew up in America, somewhere called Burbank, USA.
And here's the part that makes me want to cry. Because Zoey grew up without proper care, she developed unhealthy eating habits over time. Her parents were too busy fighting each other to notice their daughter was destroying herself. And eventually, she developed diabetes. You might have noticed something Zoey carries everywhere. That black purse on her arm, it's not a fashion accessory. It's an insulin pump, something she needs every single day just to stay stable. Let that sink in. Her parents were too busy fighting to notice. Now she has to carry that with her every single day. That's why she's the peacemaker of the group. When Mira and Roomie argue, Zoey isn't just uncomfortable. She's terrified of watching another family fall apart right in front of her, because she's already lived through that once, and she'll do anything to make sure it doesn't happen again. Because to Zoey, keeping the group together is worth any sacrifice. So Mira fights to keep them together because her family gave up on her. Zoey fights to keep peace because she's watched her parents fight themselves. But Roomie?
Cover those up. You only have those because...
My dad was a demon?
Roomie's story is the most devastating of all three girls, because Roomie grew up with no father, no mother, no family at all. And the person who raised her, the one who protected her, she's the one who killed Roomie's mother. Let me explain. Roomie's father was a demon, and her mother, Ryu, was a demon hunter who fell in love with him. The result? Roomie, a half-demon. Roomie's mother and Celine were best friends. They were the Mira and Roomie of their generation, close friends, K-pop stars, demon hunters. They did everything together until Celine discovered that her best friend had fallen in love with a demon and was pregnant with his child. Furious, Celine planned to kill Roomie's father. She thought she was protecting her friend, protecting humanity. But when she tried, Ryu stepped in to protect him, and Celine accidentally killed her instead. Now here's where it gets even darker. Some theories suggest that the demon Roomie's mother loved was Guima in human form. Guima, the most powerful demon of them all. If that's true, it would mean Roomie's powers are far stronger than anyone could imagine. It would mean she's a very powerful half-demon. Roomie grew up never knowing that Celine was the one who killed her mother. Celine hid the truth to protect her from hate. And because she had promised Ryu that she would raise Roomie to become a great woman. But here's the devastating part. Celine raised Roomie, fed her, trained her, kept her safe. But Celine never loved Roomie for who she really was. Because Roomie is half demon, and to Celine, demons are the enemy. So Celine couldn't fully accept the girl she was raising. That's why she tells Roomie to cover her marks and hide her shame and fears. Think about what that means. Roomie grew up with someone who cared for her, but made her hide that she was half demon. Roomie kept it a secret from Mira and Zoey because she was ashamed, because she'd learned from Celine that this part of her was something to hide, something that would make people stop loving her. But here's what destroyed Roomie. When Mira and Zoey eventually found out, they weren't disgusted. They were angry. Not because Roomie was half demon, but because she didn't trust them enough to tell them. For the first time in Roomie's life, she found a family who didn't care that she was half demon. Sisters who were upset, not because of what she was, but because she didn't trust them with the truth. Mira and Zoey were saying, "We don't care if you're half demon. We care that you thought we would." And that realization, that she finally had people who loved her unconditionally, broke something open in Roomie. She had to be strong. That's why she's the leader. That's why she's always the one protecting Mira and Zoey. Because Roomie doesn't know how to be vulnerable. Growing up, no one ever made her feel safe enough to try until Mira and Zoey. Celine taught her that parts of her needed to stay hidden, that who she really was might make people turn away. For the first time in her life, Rumi doesn't have to be strong. She doesn't have to hide. Mira and Zoey see her, really see all of her, demon blood and all, and accept her completely, not despite who she is, but exactly as she is. Rumi spent her entire childhood wondering if anyone could ever love the real her, and now she finally knows the answer is yes.
I love my girls.